Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1980 Detroit Lions alternate history. This is our Monday morning quarterback edition where we're going to take a look back at Week 13, our loss to the Green Bay Packers, and then we will look ahead and size up the Minnesota Vikings for Week 14. Additionally, we're going to take a look at our contest standings through the 13 weeks. We're 3 weeks away, and it is a dead heat as far as wins go among our contestants. So that is, and then we'll take a look at league leaders, and then maybe we start talking about the draft for next year and what this team needs moving forward to be successful. So let's go ahead and start off with the Green Bay Packers loss. Very disappointing. We lost 20-14. We got down 14 points early. And then, of course, the game kind of allows us to come back and make it a ball game. And then the Packers went down in the fourth quarter and scored a touchdown to win the ball game. And I mean, that was, or not a touchdown, it was 2 field goals to win the ball game. And that was all she wrote. It was a frustrating game. We had 9 penalties. Everybody on our offensive line had a penalty. Gary Cobb, for some reason, continues to encroach. And he had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. I mean, that's not the reason why we lost. We just could not get anything going on consecutive drives. And I don't know why that is. I mean, our defense wasn't all that bad. It was just so frustrating because this is a game we should have won. Maybe the last game that we actually have a chance to win. And we couldn't get it done. We won in a time of possession, which was great, but it was so disappointing to me. And I'm not really sure what else to say about it. We're going to take a look at the Lions team stats here real quick on offense. We have a fully healthy roster offensively, so there was nothing for me to replace here based on injury. But I did make one change to our offense. I swapped out our center. Amos Fowler will get another start at center, where Willie Parker and this Wally Pesui, they've started a considerable amount of games this year. Neither one of them have done particularly well. So we're going to set Willie Parker for a game out of the starting role anyway, and Amos Fowler will be our starting center. I don't know what to do about this guy. We're talking about the linemen. We're not even talking about the offensive guys. This guy has been an abomination. 13 penalties. His discipline, which I'm assuming is the rating, the rating that decides whether or not a player, can get through a game without having like serious issues. It's an 84. I don't feel like that's horrible. If we look at the other ratings, Fowler's an 88. Bollinger is a 94. He only has 2 penalties. Baldschweiler is a 94, and he's got 5 penalties. So, I mean, I guess it's lower than most. Dorney had a penalty yesterday. He's got a 94 for discipline. So, I don't know. These are attributes. I'm not sure, what really matters and what doesn't. We'll take a look at Gary Danielson. He had a pretty good game. He did not throw an interception, so we have to give him, a little bit of credit for that. But he could not complete passes. He was, I think it was 45% completion percentage for that game, under 50%, and we could just not get it going. Through the air. It was I'm so pissed off about it still, to be honest. And it's 24 hours later. His overall rating is 75.6, so he's doing better than he did in this one season where he played in 11 starts. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about Gary Danielson. He's 29 years old, and I feel like we need a new quarterback. I don't think he's I don't think he's our future for this team if we want to make the Lions' future different than its current path that it's on. Billy Sims, he had a better game. He's up to 1,167 yards. He had a touchdown running and a touchdown receiving. So a good game for him. And, we have no complaints other than his 40-yard dash time, which is slower than most linemen. So I don't understand that, but, it is what it is. Dexter Bussey, he had a big catch in yesterday's game. I think he only had one rush and he had one reception, but the reception was big. It was an 18-yard first down when we needed it most when Danielson checked down. So that was a good play. Then we got David Hill, a big game from David Hill. He's finally coming along. His yards per reception is 8.1, which is the lowest of his career, but it's actually on the incline here. He's making better plays for longer distances. So that is something that we need from our tight end. Then we have, as I think I just advanced, didn't I not? There we go. Freddie Scott still leading all the NFL in receptions and yards. 92 receptions with 3 games to go. I don't really know what the record is for receptions in his season. I want to say it was 120 at one point because I believe Megatron had that record. But now I'm not sure what it is. It's probably Cooper Kupp, but I couldn't tell you what it is. But I do think Freddie Scott is probably within the realm of surpassing that. Leonard Thompson, 41 receptions. He had a good game yesterday, over 500 yards. So he's having a career year in his 6th season. He is signed through the end of this year, so he's a free agent. We're going to need to either re-sign him or get a good wide receiver in the draft if we lose him. And then we have our offensive line, which we don't need to recap. One of the things that I did is I made Rick Kane for the game versus the Vikings. I made him our kick returner now. He is one of the fastest players on the team. By making him the kick returner, I moved Horace King into the number 2 running back position, which he has a higher rating anyway. But that means Horace King will get those extra running plays, and he will get that one pass route that Rick Kane normally gets. So I don't know if that's an improvement or not, but I feel like Arnold, although he has a kick return for a touchdown this season, I think that was in the second game of the year versus the Packers, I don't think he's getting the job done. We've already moved Kane into the punt return spot. I don't know, how did he do in that? Punt return. He didn't even return one in that game. That's how efficient the Packers were. Okay, so Ho Grant, he will get the number 2 running back position. Mike Freedy had a couple good receptions. All of our other wide receivers haven't done anything of note recently. We haven't had any injuries, so things have been going smoothly there. And you take a look at the rest of our offensive line players, which are all under 70, with the exception of Parker and Homer Elias. So that's not great. Okay, let's take a look at our special teams. Eddie Murray has missed 3 field goals in a row. All of them have been costly to us. And so I no longer feel like he is a reliable kicker. He's missed from less than 30. He's missed 2 from 30 to 39. He's missed 3 from 40 to 49, and he missed 1 from 50. So, he has been really horrible in these last 3 games when we needed him most. Incredibly frustrating. Skildani's been great. Look at how bad the Lions must have been in 78. He punted 86 times. And this year he's punted 38 through 13. So, okay, let's take a look at the defense. This is where we still are struggling. It was good to see Bubba Baker get his 5th sack. One of the things we did in the game versus the Packers when we realized there was nothing we could do is we just blitzed their asses like every play. We just sent everybody. Because my rationale for that was because the Packers had suffered 2 injuries on the offensive line during the game, and they had one injury prior. So the three of the players on their offensive line were backups, and yet we still couldn't make a difference. So that was annoying as hell. I am going to sit Gary Cobb, who did get a sack in yesterday's game, but this guy has 4 penalties. It doesn't even show their penalties, does it? No. But this guy has 3 encroachment penalties and an unnecessary roughness in 2 starts. So we've seen enough of that guy. We're going to give Eddie Cole his first start of the year. If he does well, then, I guess he's going to be out no matter what, because we get Darrell Luce back after the Vikings game, and he'll slide right back into the middle linebacker spot. We'll move Stan White to outside linebacker, and then Simmons will go to inside linebacker. So, and we're great, with our cornerbacks and safeties. These are good players. I don't know how many of them, if any, are leaving the team at the end of the year. Let's take a look. So we've got Hunter to 83. We've got Bradley for 1 more year. We've got Oldham 1 more year. And Jim Allen will be gone after this season. So that's tough. And then we have Prentice McRae, who's out for the rest of the season. And he's gone at the end of the year, too. So that's going to be tough. So, as I mentioned, we are going to give Eddie Cole a start. And everybody else is okay. I mean, Dave Purefoy's injured, but he was a backup anyway. So, okay, so that's our team. I'm not really happy about, why we can't get our offense generated a little bit more. I mean, Billy Sims has 14 touchdowns combined. Freddie Scott's leading the NFL in receiving. I just don't know how to get Gary Danielson to be better, and maybe he just won't be, and that's a problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Vikings for next week. Right now, for the contestants, the point spread is at 4.5. So to giving Detroit 4.5 points, and 39 points are the over/under. So that'll be interesting. We went under last week. We'll take a look at the contest here momentarily. Let's look at the Vikings first. Minnesota, they beat us in week 4, 30-24 in overtime. And we did not do well that game. We couldn't get a running game going. We didn't pass for over 200 yards. So that was kind of brutal. Let's look at their team. They got Tommy Kramer as their quarterback. There you go, 2,211 yards. He's only made 10 starts, so he was injured for 3 games this year. More interceptions than touchdowns. So he is, what's his rating? 72.7, and his completion percentage is right in the same range as Gary Danielson, so not great. Okay, then they got Ted Brown. He's also missed a couple games this year. 817 yards rushing, 4 TDs. Doesn't catch too many out of the backfield. They don't have a fullback, but their tight end is Bob Tucker. What about Bob? He's got 53 receptions and 5 TDs. So I do remember him being someone they targeted quite a bit. Then they've got Ahmad Rashad as their number 1 wide receiver. Started every game. He's got 46 receptions, 843 yards. No touchdowns to Ahmad Rashad, coming off that all-pro season. Their wide receiver 2 is Sammy White. No photograph for some reason. 57 receptions, 4 TDs. He's actually been targeted more, 101 times. And then wide receiver 3 is Terry LeCount of Monte Cristo with only 10 receptions. Do they have injuries at wide receiver? No, they have only got 1 injury on offense, and that is a tackle. Oh, they have 2. So they have their number 1 tackle out and their number 1 center out, their starting center. So so they have a 68 at right guard and a 72 at right tackle, and their backup center is actually pretty good. Under 80, but it's Jim Longer, who was a good center in his time. And their offensive, the running back is running for 7 yards, a carry up the middle when he's in there, although he's making his first start, so we can't count on that. Okay, backups. They got Steve Dills as their backup quarterback. Their backup running back is Ricky Young. He's got 356 yards. He had 2 starts. And then, of course, they have Walter Payton's little brother, Eddie Payton, who is actually his older brother, but I think he's smaller. And I say that because I think he was primarily a kick returner. Is he a kick returner in this game? Yeah, he is. That's right. He's got a touchdown this year, too. But yeah, I believe Eddie Payton is the older brother, right? Okay, and then they have backups that we aren't going to recognize here. So, okay, so offensively, their line is a little shaky, but all of their main position players are in there. Let's take a look at the special teams. Their kicker is Rick Danmeyer. 95% field goal percentage. That is amazing. He missed 1 from 40 to 49. What makes this guy so damn special? I don't know. His field goal accuracy is only 82. They kick at a dome. Or no, wait. It was, there was the Metrodome around in 80. I guess so, right? So they're in the dome. That's weird. And then they have maybe the best punter in the game, Greg Coleman, who's averaging 48 yards a punt. Punt distance is a 97, so pretty good. Okay, they have a backup kicker who has actually started, or what? He's been in one game and made a couple extra points. Lamar Edwards, his name is. Never heard of him. Okay, let's take a look at the defense. No injuries at all, so all their starters are in there. Wow, they've only suffered 3 man games of injuries on their defense. So this defense is, they're amazing. I mean, in fact, they only have 2 players under 80, Holloway and Ken Sanders. Yeah, I thought that was a Lions player, Ken Sanders. So that's not good. I mean, this is where they're going to get us. Randy Holloway leads the team in sacks with 5.5. And interceptions are Bobby Bryant with 4. 52 career interceptions for Bobby Bryant, who I think was out of football by 1980. But that's all right. And then Nate Wright, Tom Hannon, and Kurt Knopf. They all have 2 in the secondary. So, this is a really good defensive team. I'm surprised our record isn't better, but they're at 6-7, and they still have a playoff shot. We're done. We have no playoff shot at all. We are simply playing the season out now for stats and for the contest. So, speaking of the contest, let's take a look here at where we stand through week 13. Now, all 3 contestants have 7 wins. That's a really great job by everybody. This is going to be exciting to the end here. So everyone, I'm sorry, not everyone. Sean and John guessed correctly with Green Bay winning plus the points. Don had his misguided trust in me. He took the loss as we were giving up the 7.5, and nobody got the over/under right. We went under in that game. So what it all means here is that everyone is tied at 7 wins. And then as it stands right now, Don T has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct predictions, meaning they guessed the winner and they guessed the over-under. And that is the tiebreaker. He's got 5. Sean has 1, 2, 3, 4, and John has 3 so far. So that's where we stand going into week 14 of the season. So for our 3 contestants, get those into me in the email, or you can contact Brainiac Baseball on Facebook, or if you know me personally, you can go ahead and send me a direct message through the Facebook page if you want. So Minnesota giving 4.5 points to Detroit. Can we stay within 4.5? And the over-under is 39. for this game. So with their tough defense and our injuries to our defense. So that's where everything's going to hinge. Let's go ahead and take a couple quick looks at things here. There's the standings. If you didn't see them at the end of yesterday's game, I didn't really feel like spending any extra time on this yesterday because I was so pissed. But Philadelphia has lost their first game of the year. So they're 12-1. And Chicago and Green Bay are winning the division. They're tied for the division lead. And Minnesota does have a chance to still win the division, technically speaking. New Orleans, with a win this week, will clinch the division in the West. And taking a look at the AFC, a tight race in the East with Buffalo and Miami at 8-5. In the Central, we have Pittsburgh leading by 2 games with a win. They'll clinch their division. I went ahead and scouted them in advance because we play them in 2 weeks. They're going to massacre us. Oh, my gosh. This team is just full of killers on offense and defense. This is going to be a bad game for us when we get there, but it should be fun. Then in the West, San Diego, with a win, can win that division. They're the only team that's over 500 at 8-5. Okay, we'll take a quick look at the leaders here. We don't need to go through all of them, but quarterback rating, this is for all the NFL. Doug Williams has a sizable lead, 109.2 quarterback rating. Maybe your favorite quarterback is in there. You'll see Bradshaw, who we're going to face in 2 weeks, and Bartkowski, who we face in week 16. Rushing yards, it is Wilbert Montgomery, 1,480 yards. Tony Dorsett in there. Sweetness at 1,226. Billy Sims, 1,167. Right there in the top 10. Receiving yards, it is Freddie Scott, 1,620. He's got 210 yards more than Charlie Joyner. All these big names here. John Stallworth, Steve Largent. And then sacks, it's Rulon Jones hanging on with 8.5. I think he's had 8.5 for like 3 weeks now. So there's your leaders. Let's take a look at the playoff scenario here. The Bears, they must have the tiebreaker over the Packers because they are facing the Saints. They don't have to play a wild card game, I guess is my point. And then the Packers and the Cowboys will play the wild card game to face the Eagles. That's going to be tough. And then the Colts and Dolphins will do the same to face the Steelers. And the Bills and the Chargers are lining up in the other games. So, these are all like solid teams. I kind of can't wait to see how the playoffs work. I wonder if we could actually play each game and let them just the computer play the computer. That might be fun to just watch them play out. That's a possibility. We'll think about that. And then we'll take a look at the draft. Right now we have the number 2 pick in all of football. Now, knowing what you guys know about this team, what do you think I should address? I mean, I don't think we're going to win another game. Will the 49ers? I don't know. So I think right now we've got the number 2 spot sized up pretty good. I mean, we're going to try to win. I would never not try to win. But to have the number 2 spot, how do you think I should spend that? Should I get a better quarterback, depending on who's out there? Do we have a list? College draft? They're not available until the end of the season. Okay. So I have no idea who is going to be available. So, I don't know about the free agents. So I guess we can't really determine our needs just yet. But in your opinion, what position do you think I need to address most of all? Offensive line, defensive line, linebackers? We definitely need linebackers. Do we need a better quarterback? I think we're set at running backs. We probably need a wide receiver. Our tight end is below average. We need a lot of things. So let me know in the comments, if you're still watching at this point, who you think we need to replace and fill with a better player. Okay? So that's going to do it for today. Contestants, get your entries in as soon as you possibly can. Think it over. It's a Thursday night game. I don't know why there's a Thursday night game in Week 14. Maybe the schedule is kind of based on what they were doing in real life in 2017, but it's a Thursday night game, although we will be playing it on Sunday. I don't have time to play a game of this length on Thursdays. So, okay, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Like and or subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back later on today with a 1969 Seattle Pilots What If scenario game. Until then, everyone, have a great day.